What's up, fellas? Hope your Tuesday is going well. Yes, I'm thirsty. This is called Rise. Vitamin Zero equivalent to orange juice. Rise. Sugar free. All right. This probably won't be too long. See, I'm going to confess, since I love my Patreon subscribers, I trust them, I can confess certain things. I'm struggling right now. As most of y'all know, I've been teasing about it. Man, my hair up top is thinning like a mug. See it? See? Like the front third of the top of my hair is thinning like a mug. It's messing with me, man. Shoot. For most of my life, my hair has contributed to my self-esteem, man. And I'm starting to, I know when you get older, your body changes. And one of the things that happens with a lot of guys, they lose their hair, man. Like my brother, he lost his probably like 6-7 years ago. A lot of my friends and frat brothers have lost their hair, man. But I've been trying to hold on. But yeah, man, so we'll see. Now the sides and back are still intact. I ain't got that big bald spot in the center of my head like some men do. But yeah, man, it's thinning up top. Anyway, quick follow-up on, I think my next to last video was about this author named Kimberly Scott. Or Kim Ball Scott, I think her name is. I don't think her name is Kimberly. I think it's Kim Ball. And, yeah, man, since I did that video, we actually had a brief exchange on Twitter that one of my followers actually saw. One of my Patreon subscribers, young Patreon subscriber of mine named Jason. He actually did a print screen of our exchange in case she tried to delete some stuff, which I appreciated. And, but yeah, it wasn't lengthy or anything, but it was just real brief. But yeah, she actually responded on Twitter. Here's what she did. Two to three things interesting. Number one, she brought up my book, Mo 1 Hardcore. Why did you bring up that book? I have no idea why she brought up that book. That book is not available on Amazon. And that book does not feature my 4 Matrix. But yet, she brought up Mo 1 Hardcore in her argument against trying to defend herself. She said something to the effect of, she said, Alan, I am a married feminist. Why would I want to borrow ideas from you when you wrote a book about how to engage in casual sex with women, which is what Mo 1 Hardcore is about. Mo 1 Hardcore is specifically about the pursuit of short-term, non-monogamous casual sex, as opposed to, say, long-term monogamous romantic type relationships, or even long-term non-monogamous polyamorous relationships. Yeah, Mo 1 Hardcore is specifically about the pursuit of like one-night stands, weekend flings, and other variations of short-term non-monogamous casual sex. And yeah, so she brought up Mo 1 Hardcore. Really? Kim Scott, this is for you. Insert dog face here. Fuck you bringing up Mo 1 Hardcore for? That's a major, what does they call it, straw man argument. She bringing up something that ain't got shit to do with the argument. And number 2, she asked me for a truce. Don't you find that interesting that she would ask me for a truce? What does that basically mean if you're perceptive? That's basically like saying, Alan, please let this go, and please don't bring any more public attention to the fact that I basically bit off of your 4-quadrant matrix. Please kind of just leave it alone so that it doesn't bring any more public attention to it. That's basically what she's asking for when she says she asked me for a truce. Because if she was totally innocent, why would she ask for a truce? I mean, seriously. If she was totally innocent, why would she ask me for a truce? That's what a lot of people do when they steal my shit. Either them or their followers will write me and say, well, Alan, I think you should let this go. No, what they're really saying is, I want you to be quiet so that you don't bring any, like, I'm going to call out somebody by name. Alpha Male Strategies. I'm going to call him out. When he bit off some of my material from my book, The Possibility of Sex, I remember a lot of his followers would write me and saying, oh, Alan, quit being petty. Why don't you let this go? Why don't you let this go? No, I ain't going to let it go. Because that's what they want me to do. Anytime, I'm going to let you know this, man. Anytime people are biting off your shit, stealing your shit, copying your shit, and in worst case scenario, just flat out verbally plagiarizing your shit, they're going to always want you to be silent about it. Because if you silent, it makes it look like you're giving that person your blessings to steal your shit. That's why people want you to be quiet. When you're quiet, that's why I tell guys, that's why I don't like to be quiet. That's why I say if I catch people copying me without giving me proper credit attribution or verbally plagiarizing, I'm always, if I don't pursue some type of legal action against them, the minimum thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a bunch of noise. I'm going to make a bunch of noise about it. I'm going to call them out about it. Stefan Clinkscales and others, I'm going to make noise about it. Because, see, when you're silent, again, when you're silent about people stealing your shit, that makes it look like you're either one of two things. Either like you don't really care that they're stealing your shit, or it makes it look like you gave them your blessing to essentially steal your shit. But anyway, going back to Kim Scott, yeah, man, this shit gonna ask me for a truce. Then the third and final thing she did that was interesting, she blocked me. She blocked me on Twitter, man. After we had the exchange, she blocked me. Now, I didn't attack this woman personally. I didn't call her a disrespectful bitch or call her out of her name. In my interaction with her on Twitter, I used respectful language with her. So why would she block me? If you're perceptive, you would know why she blocked me. I'm going to tell you the reason why she blocked me is because I start, for the second time in our exchange, I start pointing out the similarities in her 4 categories of interpersonal communication versus my 4 categories of verbal communication skills. And I point out that they're essentially just alike. And the reason she blocked me is because, see, she doesn't want her fans, followers, and supporters to see those similarities. She don't want her fans, followers, and supporters to see those similarities. Because she know her fans, followers, and supporters are going to be like, I think this black man, Alan Roger Currie, got a point. Now, the one thing that makes her biting off of me hard to detect for the average person is because I mentioned this in my other video about her. Her book has nothing to do with dating and relationships. It has nothing to do with romantic relationships, sexual relationships, or anything to do with dating and relationships. Her book is to do with dealing with people in the workplace, in a professional corporate environment. She used to work for Google. She used to be the CEO of an app called Dropbox. I think a lot of you should be familiar with Dropbox. She was actually the former CEO, I want to say, of Dropbox. And I'm thirsty. So yeah, her book deals with interpersonal communications with people in the workplace. That's probably the singular difference between her book and my book. But again, man, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but yeah, man, her 4 categories of interpersonal communication skill are just like mine. Once again, real quick, and then I'll move on. She has 4 categories of interpersonal communication skills. One she calls radical candor, which is essentially just like my Mode 1. She describes that as being bluntly honest, but with compassion. Being straightforwardly honest with people, but with compassion. She calls that radical candor. She has another category of interpersonal communication skills called ruinous and regrettable empathy. Ruinous and regrettable empathy. And she describes that as when you care too much about not hurting someone else's feelings and not bruising someone else's ego to the point where it makes you come across as too nice and too non-confrontational, too nice and too non-confrontational. Where have you heard that from before? That's basically the same thing as my Mode 2 category of verbal communication skills. That's the same as my Mode 2. Then probably out of her 4 that she ripped off from me, the biggest, most probably blatant ripoff is this third category, which she calls manipulative insincerity. It's just like my Mode 3 category. Her manipulative insincerity category is literally just like my Mode 3 category. It's just like it. And finally, her 4th category of interpersonal communication, she calls it obnoxious overaggression. Obnoxious overaggression, which is essentially very similar, if not the same, as my Mode 4 category of verbal communication skills. So the update is we had a Twitter exchange. Then she blocked me. I've consulted with not one but 2 copyright and intellectual property attorneys. We're supposed to talk later on this week in more detail, but they know the basics of what's going on. And what they're basically going to do after I consult with them, they're going to let me know if I have legitimate grounds for a lawsuit against her. But yeah, even if I don't proceed with a lawsuit, I'm not successful in being able to proceed with a lawsuit. The bare minimum thing I'm gonna do, man, I'm gonna make a lot of noise about it. I'm gonna make a lot of noise about it, man, because I'm tired of people copying my shit. Now, speaking of copying my shit, I had in the last just a few hours, starting with I think late last night and early this morning, some of my followers brought to my attention that dating coach Mr. Lucario, Hashim Lucario, who I interviewed on Blog Talk Radio a couple times, and he interviewed me on his YouTube channel once. He's coming out with a documentary called Game Kings. Game Kings. And a lot of people are saying, Alan, man, he dissed you. He dissed you, man. You should be on the cover of his documentary. I don't see your face, man. He dissed you. He dissed you. And then the second thing I heard some guys say is, Alan, you know somebody, one of those guys in his documentary going to be trying to steal your shit. You know they're going to be trying to steal your shit, man. I guarantee you, he got like 6 or 7 guys contributing to his documentary. I guarantee you 1 or 2 of those guys are going to try to steal it. I don't know. I got to see it. On the second point, I would have to see it to see if anybody does try to bite off of my shit. As far as the first point, as far as him dissing me, I can say that that's false. Actually, Mr. Lucario actually did invite me to be a participant in his Game Kings documentary. So it wasn't like he just ignored me or didn't even offer me an invitation. He actually did invite me to be a participant. I actually respectfully declined. For like 2 to 3 reasons that I don't want to get into. But yeah, I respectfully declined the invitation. So he didn't diss me or just blatantly exclude me from his documentary. He offered an invitation to me. And actually, I want to say, initially, I gave him a tentative acceptance, but then after thinking over some things and considering some things, I respectfully declined. So no, Lucario didn't diss me. And I wish him well with this documentary. I don't know everybody that's a part of it. I know there's 2 to 3 people I know who are part of it that I'm familiar with. The other guys I'm not really familiar with. Steve Dean Williams is going to be a part of his documentary. Ron Wills is going to be a part of his documentary. And the legendary pimp Rosebud is going to be a part of his documentary. Then he has 2 or 3 other guys that I'm either only loosely familiar with or not really familiar with at all. But anyway, yeah. So, what was I going to say? Anything else I want to bring? Oh, yesterday I officially started my proposed 6-week hiatus. 6-week hiatus. Yeah, again, I've done a few hiatuses before. This will probably be like my 5th overall, my 5th relatively lengthy hiatus. Yeah, I'm proposing to go 6 weeks without doing a free YouTube video. Now, I'll still be uploading an average of 1 or 2 videos per week here on Patreon. So you guys won't be left out during my hiatus. I said bare minimum, I will be uploading 1 video per week. In some weeks, I'll be uploading as many as 2 or 3 videos per week here on the Patreon page. But as far as free YouTube videos, I won't be doing, unless I break down, I won't be doing any free YouTube videos again until Monday, September 16th. Monday, September 16th is when I'll start doing free YouTube videos again. Now, a lot of people say, Alan, you're going to break down as soon as somebody says something in another podcast to piss you off, or you find out somebody stealing your shit like Kim Scott, you're going to come back and do a video. I won't guarantee that I won't. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, tomorrow is the official end of my 5th Conquer Your Fear of Rejection challenge. I've done a number of these with my Patreon subscribers, what I call my Conquer Your Fear of Rejection challenge. Because I've always said that the number one key, ultimately, to being successful with women is you have to reach a point where you become totally unfazed by rejection. Nobody likes rejection. I don't like rejection, but I know how to deal with rejection. I know how to, deal with it and accept it. But that's one of the biggest things that causes mode 3 behavior is fear of rejection. I said that in my book. Yeah. The biggest thing that causes mode 3, all variations of mode 3 behavior, is a profound fear of being rejected and or the fear of being indefinitely ignored. Anytime you have a profound fear of being rejected, and along with that, a fear of being indefinitely ignored by a woman, that's when you're going to lean towards exhibiting some variation of mode 3 behavior. Mode 3 behavior. Because each of my 4 modes of behavior are motivated by either a desire for something or a fear of something. A desire for something or a fear of something. Mode, I'll go down my list of modes and identify which is motivated by either a desire for something or a fear of something. Mode 1 is primarily predicated on a desire not to waste time. That's the number one thing that motivates mode 1 behavior is a desire not to waste time with women who do not have a genuine romantic or a genuine strictly sexual interest in you. That's the primary thing that motivates mode 1 behavior is a genuine desire not to waste time. Mode 2 is primarily motivated by a fear of being harshly criticized, a fear of being insulted, and a fear of engaging in some type of argument or confrontation, antagonistic confrontation with a woman. That's the one thing that motivates mode 2 is when you want to avoid being criticized, You want to avoid being insulted, and you want to avoid engaging in any type of argument or antagonistic confrontation with a woman. Mode 3 is predicated on a profound fear of being rejected, a profound fear of being rejected, a profound fear of being humiliated in public, and a profound fear of being indefinitely ignored. A profound fear of being rejected, a profound fear of being humiliated in public, and a profound fear of being indefinitely ignored. That's what primarily provokes mode 3 behavior. Mode 4 behavior is when you have a desire, strong desire for egotistical retribution against women. Egotistical retribution against women. I would say egotistical and or emotional retribution. In other words, put it in more simple terms, when you exhibit mode 4 behavior, you want to purposely agitate women, antagonize women, and make them feel like shit about themselves or some aspect of their behavior. You want egotistical revenge. You want to agitate women, you want to antagonize women, and you want to make them feel like shit. That's what motivates mode 4 behavior. But yeah, out of those 4, the main one, my conquer your fear of rejection, is targeted towards is preventing men from exhibiting mode 3. I'm trying to help all the men who are guilty of exhibiting some variation of mode 3 behavior. As you know, I got at least 3 subcategories in mode 3. I have the mode 3 timid. Mode 3 timid is when you're just straight up just afraid to approach women and initiate a conversation with them. So consequently, you just don't approach any women. You never ever approach any women. Yeah, that's probably one of the worst forms of mode 3 behavior, is when you're mode 3 timid. You just, again, that comes from a profound fear of being rejected, a profound fear of being humiliated in public, or a profound fear of being... Now, here's the irony of that. What's the irony of that, being a mode 3 timid? And I've pointed this out before. What's the irony of being a mode 3 timid? Is when you're a mode 3 timid, the reason why you're scared to approach a woman is because you're scared of being denied a woman's romantic companionship or her strictly sexual companionship. But the irony is, if you don't approach her at all, you're not going to gain access to her romantic companionship or strictly sexual companionship. So really, what are you losing? What are you losing by approaching her? I mean, seriously. If you approach her and get rejected, you're going to be denied her romantic companionship or strictly sexual companionship. Or if you don't approach her at all, you're going to be denied her romantic companionship or strictly sexual companionship. So what do you have to lose? That's my argument with mode 3 timids. What do you have to lose? You don't have nothing to lose. The second variation of mode 3 behavior is what I call a mode 3 target. A mode 3 target. A mode 3 target is when on the positive end, you have enough confidence to approach a woman and initiate a conversation with her, which is a good thing. You have enough confidence to approach a woman and initiate a conversation with her, but pretty much your whole conversation centers around trivial bullshit small talk, and or it centers around you going out of your way to try to impress women. Impress women. That's what mode 3 targets do. They do one or two things. They either just spend the whole conversation engaging in trivial, inconsequential bullshit small talk, and or they spend the vast majority of their conversation trying to impress women with their academic-related accomplishments and achievements, their career-related accomplishments and achievements, their financial-related accomplishments and achievements. Yeah, you would say things like, yeah, I own a house in Beverly Hills, and I drive a Mercedes, and I graduated from Harvard, and I'm the CEO of my own company. Yeah, your whole conversation is just built on trying to impress women. And the downside of that is you're going to end up attracting nothing but, if you do attract women, you're going to end up attracting nothing but materialistic gold diggers and shallow and superficial women who are looking to use you for your financial resources and material possessions. Yeah. When you carry on that type of conversation, you're going to attract nothing but materialistic gold diggers and women who are looking to use you for your material resources and financial resources and material possessions. And when you engage in nothing but trivial, inconsequential bullshit small talk, then all you're going to do is waste time. You're never going to lay your desires, interests, and intentions on the table. So you're going to end up just wasting time. If you're talking to a woman that's not interested in dating you or having sex with you, you're going to waste time because you're never going to force her to let you know that she's not interested in you. And if you're talking to a woman that is potentially interested in you, you're going to waste time because you ain't going to lay nothing on the table. So she ain't going to know what your desires and interests are. Therefore, what does she have to reciprocate? What does she have to reciprocate? Then the final category of mode 3 is what I call a mode 3 liar, cheater, adulterer, and fun clubber. I know that's a lot. But yeah, that's the third category. Is a mode 3 liar, cheater, adulterer, and I got 5. I said 4. It's 5 actually. 5 subcategories of the third category of mode 3. Liar, cheater, adulterer, manipulator, and fun clubber. Liar, cheater, adulterer, manipulator, and fun clubber. That's the third category of mode 3. And you can say there's at least 4 or 5 subcategories within that third category. Yeah, I mean, most of them are self-explanatory. Mode 3 liar. You just lie to women. Now, you lie to women. For example, you give women a misleading impression. You tell women that you want a long-term monogamous sexual relationship when you really want a short-term non-monogamous relationship. That's being a liar. You tell a woman that you're in love with her when you know deep down you're really not, just to get the pussy. You're lying. You tell women you're not married when you actually are married. Or you tell women you don't have a girlfriend or fiance when you actually do. You're a liar. That's simply a mode 3 liar. You lie. You try to lie to women to get the pussy. Similar to a liar would be a misleading manipulator. A misleading manipulator. Yeah, you toy with women's emotions. You mislead them and manipulate them. And all of them are, even a cheater and adulterer are the same thing as a liar and manipulator. So essentially they're the same thing. All of those are the same thing. Liar, manipulator, cheater / adulterer. Those are all essentially the same thing. And then the one other one is fun clubber. Fun clubber, you know what fun clubbing is. Fun clubbing is basically when you pretend like you're content with being a woman's purely platonic friend for a number of weeks, a number of months, a number of years, when you know deep down you really want to be in either a long-term romantic relationship with that woman, or at minimum you want to engage in a few episodes of short-term non-monogamous casual sex with that woman. But you're pretending like you're cool with just being her male friend or her buddy. I call that fun clubbing. Fun clubbing. So anyway, the deadline for the Conquer Your Fears Challenge, the most recent one, is tomorrow. And I'm going to discuss your results on the live stream on Thursday. Okay? All right, fellas. I might come back with another video on Thursday morning or maybe Friday. But until if I don't come back with another video before my live stream, I know some of you are at work and you can't make my live streams. I'm going to try to rotate my times around so different people can make it. But my default time for my live streams is Thursdays at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Now, I've had a lot of people write me and say they can't make that, usually either because they're at work or if they live in a different country, that's too late, either too late or too early. So I'll try to rotate my times around and I'll keep you posted. All right, fellas. Peace.